Why am I passionate about understanding emotional evolution is a great question. I had a chaotic childhood that haunted me long into adulthood. I'm not alone in that. There are other people who've experienced the same thing. First, my mother was abandoned by her dad and raised in a children's home. His wife, my maternal grandmother, had died the year before from a stroke, and he was overwhelmed trying to work full time and raise the kids. At the children's home, she didn't have emotional safety. While she was there, her needs of love and belonging weren't met. Thus, she couldn't give me what she didn't have. My dad's dad died when he was 5 or 6, and his mother had 8 children to take care of. But she also had to find full time work at a time when women weren't really welcomed into the workplace. She was frazzled. She was trying to keep the family financially afloat. She didn't have time to provide emotional safety needs of love and belonging to my dad. And then those two people, my mom and my dad, got married and had 4 children. I'm the baby, and unfortunately, I was born deathly ill, which just totally added a layer of chaos to the family system. My parents would go years without speaking to their siblings. Someone was always in the doghouse with my grandmother. When I was born deathly ill, we went from a 2-ring circus to a 3-ring circus. It was just really challenging to grow up in this family. It created a lot of emotional dysfunction, and not only creating it, but there was also already a lot of emotional dysfunction when I arrived. My parents and the medical community weren't sure I was going to survive, so they focused on keeping me physically alive. That was the primary thing, keep her physical body going. I had a hypothalamus dysfunction that caused my temperature to rise to 105, and I got packed in ice a lot as an infant to try to keep me alive. Those fevers were a regular occurrence, so I spent a lot of time packed in ice. Not only was there a great concern about would I survive, the other concerns were if I did, how much of my brain would be burnt up by those high fevers, and how would that limit my brain functioning as I grew up. They were really focused physically, and because of that, no one realized that a hypothalamus dysfunction can also cause mood disorders. My moods were not regulated, and we didn't understand this. I became a rager where I would just melt down and scream and yell and have a fit, and I didn't understand it. I'd become angry so quickly. I'd start fights. I was always in conflict. I didn't get any guidance for that because they were busy just trying to make sure that I was physically alive and that I stayed alive. And, that getting angry so quickly, I had no control over it. It was there and then it was gone. And when it was over, I'd be like, oh, what just happened? And so I named that facet of my persona warrior bitch. And baby, when she showed up, look out. And as someone who's dedicated to building people up, I was always devastated by what I could leave in my wake in terms of emotional dysfunction, hurt, and harm. And what I realized is I had to live my way through it to understand it. And what I'm sharing through Emotional Intelligence 3.0 and the body of work in that I call emotional evolution is the hard-fought wisdom of coming through that. It's what I gained from trying to understand emotional safety, how I choose to love and belong and exercise that right in the world for myself. What I discovered along the way wasn't just how to manage my anger, it was how to transform the entire system, how to turn overwhelm into capacity and potential into performance, how to live with an open heart that can hold both joy and grief, love and loss without shutting down or lashing out, or totally destructing my identity or who I thought I was. I spent the first 2/3 of my life building this map through trial and error and hard-fought wisdom. The next third is about handing you that map so you don't have to spend decades finding your way. You can start from where I ended up with tools that actually work frameworks and models that create real change, and the possibility of system wholeness within reach. That's what Emotional Intelligence 3.0 is. The framework, the map, the assessments, the tools I wished I'd had all along.